there, Heather Bullock here, and I am sharing how my thinking has shifted as I've designed my roller coaster for my PBL unit and grown as a learner-centered educator. So, to start with, I was using the driving question of what is force of motion, where students design, build, test, and present a model roller coaster that shows gravity, friction, energy, and motion, ending with a grand opening night where students were able to invite their family and friends and people from their community and even their school as they showed off their coasters and talked about the science happening behind the roller coasters. And we also are incorporating a field trip in there to the Wilson Science Museum to create an authentic real-world exposure. We did hit on all 7 of our different standards for gold standards. The first one being challenging problem / question. It was clearly aligned with 3P.1 and is meaningful because most students love roller coasters, or they at least know of a roller coaster and the design that goes into building that. So even if they don't like fast roller coasters, they could always design a slower roller coaster. Our sustained inquiry was by learning how to create a blueprint and having that blueprint, testing and then revising their coasters, questioning cycles, hands-on investigation, and real data collection. The authenticity was roller coasters exist in the real world, engineers solve these same problems, and the field trip really strengthens that authenticity. Our student voice and choice was incorporated throughout the roller coaster or throughout the PBL, where students choose their design, how they want it to look, the style, the colors, the material, the theme. And then they also got to decide how they wanted to fix it. So did they want it to go faster? Did they want it to go slower? And then having to ask those questions on how do I make it faster? How do I make it slower? And then implementing that into their coaster. The reflection were daily exit tickets, check-ins on what changed today, as the learning should happen daily and their learning and their growth. And so those reflections should happen daily as well. And students will also reflect on their tests and their redesigns. And the critique and revision, structured peer feedback using the 2 stars and a wish, and multiple revision loops were built in as well. Our public product was the grand opening night where families and community were invited. Students give an engineer explanation of force and motion. And why these designs, they align to standards and student interests because most children are obsessed with building, engineering, marbles, and speed. And it integrated through science, math, and literacy by research, our explanation writing, and ensures learning is real, not just a worksheet base. They're not just reading about a roller coaster, and if you were a roller coaster designer, what would you do? They're not just typing it out, but they're actually living it and designing it and getting that excitement about what they're doing. And that always makes the learning so much more real to them and really draws in those connections. So planning for sustained inquiry. So the marble race video and a real roller coaster clip was in the beginning, and a quick hands-on challenge where they had to make the marble either go faster or slower with different little stations. The need to know list was built on day 1 and updated throughout as questions deepen about friction, energy, and angles, which should come naturally as they're revising their roller coasters as well. And then our project wall for visual anchor for our driving question, our vocabulary, our learning targets, our team blueprints, our inquiry questions, and our revision photos. Strategies used to sustain inquiry was investigation stations with ramps, surfaces, and angles with those marbles, data collection, measuring distance, speed comparisons, video simulation, and real-world engineer videos, and the field trip fueling questions and authenticity. Our specific resources from Unit 3 that I liked was a PBL video on sustained inquiry and the example storyboard showcase, and the need to know routine video. Students decide, so our ownership examples were students decide how to fix their coaster, and when tests fail, they choose what they need to learn next, and they track their progress on our project wall. Our curriculum storyboard, what I learned from the storyboard was how to clarify the project flow with student perspective. It forced me to connect everything together. So nothing felt random or like I didn't know why we were doing it, which really drives it in the teaching points for me. So it really helped me connect our driving question to our standard, to our learning target, our formative and our summative assessments. The formative and summative assessments were both very new skills for me that I'm so grateful to have now. and it ensured each benchmark phase was built as an actual understanding of motion. I love the benchmarking. Obviously, we've always done it, but this just really put the how-to there for me. Speaking of how it supported coherence, nothing felt random. Every slide connected to the driving question. You could immediately see gaps or pieces that needed to move, and it made assessment authentic and not just tacked on. What I gained from my peer storyboard was one specific thing was I really loved how one of the ladies, she tied in her like a community project, how they can make their community better. My project was more like creating almost like a career, like if you want to like go into designing roller coasters. But like I loved how she did a community project, and I took, okay, so how could I take their learning of how to ask questions, how to design a roller coaster, how to revision it, and make that into something in their community where they could redesign and revision and implement good change into their own communities, and hopefully take that into their adulthood as well. I also got some new ideas for pacing, student voice, and visuals, and it also gave me the confidence, like, okay, I'm on the right track, I'm doing the right thing, when I saw my peers and their storyboards, and it was very just inspirational. Future application, your storyboard, all major units from now on, not just in PBL. I definitely want to incorporate this across the board because I love how it really forced me to connect every single piece of learning. It's all integrated into one. It also helps ensure that every lesson and assessment is intentional, meaningful, and aligned. Again, I grew so much from this. I really loved it. I didn't even know what PBL was from the get-go, which is crazy because it's all I've been talking about at my school, and they all know about it. So that was just a me thing. And also, I definitely have a better understanding of summative and formative assessments and benchmarking as well, and making sure all of those things are aligned. A forward-looking statement, I now see curriculum design as something students live through, not something I plan for them.